Hi, I'm Jesse Williams from Oars and Mine and Jesse's Guide Service of Crosby, Minnesota. I'm here today to talk about some lures and techniques that I prefer to use in open water fishing. Right here, I have the Bandit walleye lure. This is their stick bait. This is a shallow version. I also have a deep version, and I have a new one over here we're going to hold off on for right now. This shallow version, one of the things that I really like about this bait is how versatile it is when you're out on the open water. This is something that I will take out and troll weed edges with. The bait tends to run 8 to 12, 8 to 14 feet deep, depending on how fast you're trolling, line diameter, speed. So this is something that if you're finding walleyes on the edge of weeds and they're down in deeper cabbage, this is a great bait to run. One of the features that you have is the hard plastic body versus a balsa or wood body. The biggest thing with these is you have 3 treble hooks, as you may see here. You also have an internal rattle, and versus a lot of the rattle baits that are on the market that use small shot, this tends to have more of a knock. It's a little bit bigger ball bearing inside there, BBs if you will, but you get more of a knock than a light rattle, and that to me is it's conducive to the type of fishing I do with these. You want some sort of rattle, the sound, but it rather than a real sudden lighter rattle, it's got a little more of a knock to it, and the body has more of a roll rather than a super tight wobble you'll get with other stick baits. Now with these Bandit walleye baits, the shallow and the deep version, there's 2 different ways that I like to present these when I'm out trolling in open water. The shallow version, typically I will burn a little bit faster than I will the deep version. The deep version has a lot more pull, and that has a lot to do with it. But when you're rigging these, I prefer to use them on a longer rod. Your 7.5 to 8.5 foot trolling rods are great, medium action. I prefer to use braid, and you want to use a monofilament leader with them, but that goes with a lot of the baits that you use when you're trolling. But the shallow version is the type I tend to lean to not only when the fish are higher in the water column, but also when I want to work a bait a little faster in that 2.5 up to 3.5 miles per hour. The nice thing with these Bandit baits is that each one is hand tuned out of the package, so the chances of a blowout are very slim. They tend to track very true, which is nice when you're running multiple lines as well. The deeper version I tend to like not only when I'm seeing fish down further in the water column, but also when I want to present them a little bit slower. If I'm having, get the feeling that they're in a bit of a funk, the fish are just not as aggressively chasing, and it could be time of year as well. I found that in August a lot of times the deeper version works well just because I can roll it slower, it still gets a great action and will trigger some strikes. The shallower version too allows you to use a bigger profile bait on lead core. And a lot of lead core stuff is kind of singled out to Selma hornets, Lindy River rockers, Rapala shad raps, but these bigger stick baits often will trigger strikes on that lead core when you have fish down deeper. If I don't want the big rolling action of the deep diver and I want to get down to even 35, 40 feet of water, this is the type of bait I run on lead core. 18-pound lead core, 10 to 15-pound monofilament or fluorocarbon leader will work great. And always be sure to use some sort of loop snap or a quick attach type of a clevis to keep your main line from tying directly to the bait. It allows a better action. The deeper version of this bait is something that you take out when you find fish out in 25 to 35 feet of water. They're hanging up off the bottom, suspended, you know, they're active. This is the type of bait that gets you down there without any special gear. The profile is similar to something you would find like a tulipy type forage, even a perch type forage, and there's so many different colors available in these lures that this is something you can really match the hatch with. You can find a perch pattern, a fire tiger pattern, something that's along the lines of a perch, or you can go along the lines of more of a shiner minnow, tulipy type forage. Or you can, like you see with some of these colors, you can really get something that sticks out, something they haven't seen before. This is one of my favorite colors. This is widely known as Wonder Bread, but in the Bandit line, they're actually known as Fruit Dots. And this particular lure, what's interesting is that this shallow version, this exact model I'm holding here, has caught one of my personal best walleyes. And this bait, even though it only runs 8 to 12, 8 to 14 feet down, I caught my personal best on this exact lure in 90 feet of water. And one of my favorite techniques with these is that open water trolling. Something that I do quite often in the months of later part of June, July, into August is search on lakes that have a viable Tulabee forage base, if you will. Those big walleyes will move out over the basin, chasing those Tulabees and suspended in deeper water. And when you have that type of bite, it's typically a late evening into the dark type bite. It's a lot of trolling, and it's not the most exciting fishing, but the quality of the fish is hard to match. It's just something that it's worth it once you do it. You're out there for that 1, 2, 3 bites a night. Those fish are typically 26 to 30 inches long, and they're well fed on Tulabees. So this is something that I find very exciting. All of these colors, the extensive line that Bandit offers, they have 20, 30 different colors in these baits. You have the 2 different styles in the shallow and the deep. But here's something that's even more exciting for me. As a fisherman, every once in a while you come across a product that not only works really well, but it works in your favor, finding whatever preference you have with time of day you fish, how you fish out deep water, shallow water, clear water versus dark water. With the popularity of these lures being open water trolling baits for big walleyes, they have come out with the Generator. Now, this is no surprise to anybody that knows that Bandit is owned by the same company that Lindy is owned by, and Lindy has come out with several winter offerings using glow sticks in a hard body bait that allows the bait to kind of shine and glow as an orb versus light up or flash. You have the combination of the wobbling action that you get from these baits in this Generator with the ability to put glow sticks in it. So I guarantee you, even though this is new for 2020, this bait will be in my boat and in my hands come open water season. A little side note with these Bandit walleye lures is that they're actually great pike lures. When I first started using these, they came out, I'm going to say 6 or 7 years ago. We started stocking them here at Oars of Mine, and I took these lures out not just with the intention of catching walleyes, but a lot of these colors appealed to me for northern pike. And what I found is I was right. These are absolutely phenomenal pike lures. If it's a matter of just catching a number of fish in a short period of time, this is my go-to lure for a big pike or numbers of fish throughout the day. Now, another great thing about these lures is not just their walleye and pike catching abilities, but just their overall versatility with any fish that tend to forage on this size of bait. This bait profile is perfect for things that eat perch, Tulabees, shiner minnows, and what we found is that we've caught not only smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, aside from the walleyes and pike, but we've even caught muskies on these. Muskies we've had several encounters with them out in deeper water where they're chasing Tulabees, and a lot of it is this size forage. But another thing that you're going to find out is that these size lures are going to start to catch more muskies on waters that are heavily pressured. They're seeing big double cowgirls. They're seeing big medusas. Everybody's throwing bigger baits at those fish. Those fish are way more likely to take something this size rather than the big honking lures that they've already been caught on or seen other fish over and over. They've seen those baits day after day. This might be the ticket to trigger them to strike. If you want to see how these baits work firsthand, check out the link in the description below. Give me a call here at Oars of Mine, Jesse's Guide Service, or stop in. And if you want to talk more about these Bandit lures, how we present them, and you want to do it on your own, stop in, check out our full selection of them. If you like what we did here today, thank you very much. We appreciate the views. Leave it in the comments below if you have any experience with these lures or have some other lures that you'd like us to review. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.